Childhood is in crisis today because parents are projecting all their unmet needs and expectations on the child. Most of us have been living in ego, and that is the self-growth process that we have to go through to let go and release the old patterns of the ego and there recover the true self.
Hello there, this is Ajit Navlaka, your host at EverCoach, and today I am in conversation with Shefali Tsabary. Shefali Tsabary is an award-winning author of Conscious Parenting and Mindvalley author, and I'm super excited to bring her to our platform because she's also somebody who's one of the top parenting coaches in the world. She's not only the top parenting coach in the world, she also is among the top trainers for coaches in parenting in the world, and which is why I'm super excited to have this conversation with Shefali Tsabary. Let's roll it. I'd welcome you today, Shefali. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here with you and your coaches, and I'm here to help. So tell me what I can help with.
Yeah, so very impressed with all the work that you've been doing. Of course, I got personally exposed to your work a lot more when you spoke at the Mindvalley University, I want to say maybe 3 years ago, or 2 or 3 years ago, something like that. And that was the first time when I really got exposed to your work. And ever since, been really impressed that everything that you've been talking about is so profound and so interesting. But for the people who may not have yet heard and experienced your work, tell us a little bit about Shefali and how did you get into talking about conscious parenting, if we may start there.
Sure. So by expertise or training, I'm a clinical psychologist. I have a PhD, and I was so exposed to Western psychology, but I always felt, because I come from the East maybe and was raised in India, that I wasn't getting the whole picture, because I knew that the East had all this wisdom that is not in Western psychology. So at the age of 21, I began meditating, and I do Vipassana meditation, and it's insight-based meditation that the Buddha taught, and really went deep in that practice, and it really revolutionized my life. So now in my work, I integrate the Western psychology with Eastern philosophy, and I found my niche, my integration. I found a way to teach it. And then when I became a mom, I found a way to put it into parenting in a way that I had never learned before. And it's been so helpful to me. So then I was like, oh my goodness, is it possible that other people would be helped by this? Could they be helped by this? Because I am so, grateful that I have both these wings of the ego. But most people don't have an East meets West perspective, if they have any perspective at all. So I began writing about it, and there was birth what now is known as conscious parenting. And I just am passionate about it. I teach about it. I have an institute that trains other coaches on it. And this is my mission. I wake up every day to help people figure out who it is they are. And I have a method to do it. And I help others do it with others, similar to your coaches.
That's fantastic. And like we were talking before, we have a lot of coaches that come from diverse fields, life and business coaching, and maybe a few who also do parenting coaching. Could you give us a little bit more insight to it? What is it that you've found as you have trained so many people? And also, of course, you yourself, you're a psychologist, but also, of course, you coach parents to be able to be better parents and better human beings. What's the big insight? What's the big thing that you feel is a constant that you identify that most people would benefit from if they would know a little bit more towards it?
Well, the constant is that we are all children inside, and we have inner children. So actually everyone is a parent. They're parents to their own inner children. And the more we can parent our own inner self, that's when we evolve. So people always ask me about my coaching program, for example, or any of my work. Oh, I'm not a parent yet. So I always say, yes, you are. You are first your own inner child's parent, and we need to raise that inner child up. And all of us, we think we're 45 and we're paying our mortgage bills and we're like licking the envelope to send the payment. We are not grown up. We're just chronologically older, but we are not spiritually evolved. We all have wounds from childhood that need to be healed. And I don't care if it's corporate a corporate leader on the top of his game, or a woman who's a politician on top of her game. It doesn't matter. Inside, we are all inner children who have wounds that need to be healed. And when we heal those wounds, then whatever level we were at, we can go to limitless levels because of that healing. So I work with people to heal them from inside so they can show up whole. And I've not met a single person who is fully whole. You know, most people have holes, HOLESs. And my work is to not necessarily have them heal it, but at least have them understand how these wounds are impacting them and have been creating these patterns that need to be disrupted.
Interesting. So, like you said, we all have holes and we all have inner childs, as you call them, and we need to grow up in many ways. What does growing up look like, and how does one know if, and metaphorically, let's see if this lands anywhere, but metaphorically, what age of inner child are we at, and what does growing up really look like? Like, are we toddlers? Right. Are we yes. teenagers? And yes. How do we know any of that?
I haven't really met anyone past 17 on the inner level, but no, I'm just being facetious. So some of us are stuck very primitive, very primitive, don't know who we are, lose our temper all the time, highly reactive, or get depressed. The reactivity is very primitive. It's like you've met people like this, where no matter what you say, you've hurt them. It's Eckhart calls it the pain body. The pain body is just like everywhere you go, like 10 feet wide, the person's pain body. So even if you say something like, I was wondering if I could be introduced to your aunt who lives in Namibia, they're going to get rejected. And you're like, what did I say? What did I say? So their pain body is so big because the inner wounds are just spilling out. That's really primitive. And you can see that they have clinical disorders, mental health problems, depressions, and their level of consciousness is, unfortunately, and I say this with compassion, low, and they're just reactive because they were so wounded in childhood, and their only defense is reaction. So they're aggressive, they're addicts, they're depressed. And then you have, we are better and better and better. But unless we do work, so what does that look like? It looks like somebody who is on a path, who is willing to take accountability, who sees that they are co-creators, who looks in the mirror, who understands that they can't really blame anyone anymore and they can't be victims and martyrs anymore. And they're like, damn, I know it's my life and I have to take responsibility. Damn, that's a grown-up. It doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It doesn't mean you have to reach the end, but you kind of have to know that whatever crap you're in has been marvelously co-created by your own doing. And there is no dumping of responsibility anymore. You have to wake up, take life into your own hands and disrupt your own patterns and become aware. And your grown-up people are people who are on a path of evolution and are highly challenging of themselves to look in the mirror and take responsibility. And they wake up with a zeal to be whole and to be of service.
Beautiful, beautiful. Would you say, because our experience of conversation with coaches, and of course, I'm in no way implying that they're grown-ups and we are grown-ups in any way, because we are all on the journey of growth. But the question that I really have is, coaches tend to be, or at least we tend to believe, that we are a little bit more aware, and we would like to support our clients have that awareness as well. What have you found in your coaching practice and your students, of the people that have done certification programs with you? What does that journey look like? And is that even the context of the journey that is there, or there's a completely different path to finding the inner child and working with that inner child and making progress towards this growth? Is there a path to this, or is it very subjective?
Right. So before I opened my institute, I was very resistant to creating a path because I didn't want to structure it. But then as I began working with client after client, over hundreds of clients over decades now, I realized, wow, it's kind of the same. We all have these patterns and we all have these needs. It's just a matter of understanding what flavor and taste and shape yours takes versus mine, but the pattern is there. So I created this system. So in my program, for example, the coaches go through this path, but they actually do the work on themselves. And as they do the work on themselves, they begin to understand how it shows up in other people. And I show people, I do role play after role play in real time. So people can see, wow, it's the same pattern. Do you see the pattern? Do you see how it showed up? She showed it up in this way. She manifests her insecurity this way. You manifest it this way. So as people begin to see the commonality of the patterns, they begin to realize the themes are the same. They're cyclical in our lives and in our clients' lives. And then it's about, understanding how to break these patterns, first in yourself and then in the other. So all my work is first self-transformational, and then it's you use the same principles on yourself, on the others. The reason I can help people is only because I can help myself. If I can't help myself, I can't help anyone else. So all coaches need to be on their own path and need to first understand their own shadows, their own biases, their own loopholes, their own habits, unconscious wounds, and heal them. You have to be relatively healed in order to then help others. Otherwise, your stuff will come out and be projected and vomited all over your clients.
True. And could you, if I was to ask, and because you've trained so many already, maybe there is something that you can highlight here. And the reason for highlight is mostly, I understand there are patterns, but how many are these patterns? Are these 10 patterns, 20 patterns, 200 patterns that we have? Are there commonalities, especially when it comes to, say, coaches that come to you, which again, I'm implying somebody who's wanting to do a certification is a little bit more self-aware. They understand that they need to do this work, they need to study this work and so forth. So is there something that you find more evident so the listeners of this particular conversation go, oh, I can see that pattern myself and here is something I can do about it?
Well, it's at the core of all our inadequacies is a fear. And typically it's a fear of being who we are as we are and whole as we are. So because we were never conditioned in childhood that who we are as we are, to be whole as we are, was never good enough. We were always conditioned to do for the future, right? So because of that, we split from our authentic self at a very early, raw age, because we realize, oh, who I am as I am isn't simply not good enough. I have to do things and I have to mold into my family system in order to get the love and validation and worthiness that I thought was my legacy, was my inheritance. Nope. So the child begins to depart from the authentic self and begins to create different faces of the ego, of a persona. Why? Because the child's needs are not being met. The child is told, unless you are this, you will not get love. Now, this is picked up all subconsciously. So the child departs from the true self and begins to create a false self. The false self is called the ego. The needs of the true self were the needs of the inner child. They were not met, so that was left behind, and they're left bleeding. And in its place, a false self is created to get the needs met. Right? We can't get our needs met this way, we get our needs met this way. So somebody becomes the clown, somebody becomes the people pleaser, somebody becomes the angry rebel, somebody becomes the withdrawer, somebody becomes extremely defensive, somebody becomes angry. The face of it is innumerable, but it's kind of, you see it in human nature. By now, you and I have seen all the faces possible. Some people that's why we say, oh, some people are like that, some people are like that. What that means is that's their egoic persona that they put out into the world. Most of us have been living in ego. We have not even tapped into who it is we are. And ego shows up even through the roles we play. I'll be a successful corporate businessman, I'll be an engineer, I'll be a writer. We're following scripts without even realizing it is emerging from the thirst of neediness, of wanting our needs to be met. Am I seen? Am I heard? Am I worthy? Who am I? Am I good enough? From that core need, the fear that we're not good enough, came these egoic personas. And these are the patterns that we get stuck in, especially for women. People pleasers, empaths, codependent enablers, avoiders of conflict. This is who we are typically. Why? Because this is often our nature. We're nurturers, and this is where men, withdrawers, compartmentalizers, angry, aggressive. This is stereotypical. But we create these in order to get validated. So women think they need to be young all the time, beautiful all the time, skinny all the time, white all the time, whatever the persona is of the main archetype. And we're hungry for that, and we lose ourselves more and more and more and more till we hit a midlife crisis. Our children are drug addicts, or they've painted their hair purple, or they have dropped out of school, and then we wake up, we have an epiphany, we realize, oh, I don't even know who it is I am. Oh, my husband cheated on me, I don't even know who it is I am. Or I'm 360 pounds, I don't know who it is I am. And these moments are the epiphanies, and they happen in midlife, 45 to 60 typically. And I wait for them. Now they're predictable. I'm 48. I just had mine. People are going to have theirs. I love them. They are the turning of the guard. It's like 2020 is a possible turning of the old to the new. Like that, our midlife is a turning of the old where, oh, we did the checklist. I followed what mom and dad said, what culture said, and damn, I'm not even happy. I don't know who I am. I'm not fulfilled. I'm terrified. I don't have money in my bank account. And then you have to decide if you want to enter the tunnel of change, like we are right now because of COVID in 2020. We're in a tunnel of change. We have to decide, do we want to cling to the old or go to the new? Regardless, we have to go through the tunnel of change. And that is the self-growth process that we have to go through to let go and release the old patterns of the ego, and there recover the true self. So this is what I teach people to do in my coaching program, really, and teach parents to do it, because the reason that parents are unconscious with their children is because the parents are unconscious to their own loss of self. So if I get the parents to recover their true self, they will never mess with the child's true self. So this is the crux of the work I do.
That's beautiful. And that's beautiful work that you do. And I'm so glad to be listening into this and it's so glad that you're sharing this right now at the time where, like you rightly said, it's a tunnel of change right now, and everybody is adapting or not adapting, and then they're getting in trouble because of that, or not growing because of that. If I was to lean a little bit towards the parenting side of the dialogue, we spoke to, okay, that's the finding of the true self. Is that the same for parents as well, the parents that you coach? Is that what the outcome of the current parenting coaching is?
Right. So the reason why childhood is in crisis today is why? Because parents are projecting all their unmet needs and expectations on the child. So the parents are pulling out the same prescription list that they were given from their unconscious parents, and they're telling their kids, do for tomorrow. And you aren't enough unless you do. So you see how the legacy of shame and fear continue? So they pass on their unworthiness to their child. So the child thinks that they are their A grade. They are their pounds on the weighing machine. They are their popular group or not popular group. They are their success and failures. And this is the problem. This is all false self-ego stuff that we have to shed. So I teach my coaches to help the parents to let go of these false archetypes and to leave the matrix, because the matrix is an unconscious matrix and we cannot put it onto our children. We have to teach our children to discover who it is they are. And our children knew, but we abducted them from their true selves. So we need to help our children recover their true selves. So I help my coaches help parents to go out there and become less anxious about their children's success and failure, to teach them that life is impermanent, life is constantly changing, and your children's worth is not dependent on their grade or their friends. And when the parent gets it, then the parent can teach that to their children, no? So that's how I help parents to reframe what success is, reframe what achievement is, reframe what happiness is, and burn the old traditional paradigms that culture has addicted us to, that you need to look a certain way, be this wealthy, have so many cars in your garage. COVID is showing us this is all an illusion. So we need to stop this with our parenting. We need to have a new model of parenting which teaches our children to stay true to who it is they are, even if it doesn't look like any matrix of success that we are used to.
True. If I could digress a little bit, I'm a new parent. I have a 20-month-old at the house. That's my first kid. And because of that, my curiosity in parenting generally has peaked, just so that I could play the part I have to in his life. And I was reading this book. It's called Coddling of the American Mind. I'm not sure the name. I think of the author is Jonathan Haidt, I think. I may be pronouncing it right. And there was a curious part in the book where he talks about how, I'm paraphrasing, he talks about how the generation that is coming now into colleges and universities and just very early work life seems to be a generation that are very fragile or very how do I say it? It's they're just offended with everything, and we see that in the community culture of at least the Western society, at least the American society, if not the entire Western society. What do you think is happening here, and what is it that we as parents can do or be mindful of, conscious of, to be able to kind of negate, if that is a way to say it, or at least be conscious of this phenomenon and see what.
Right. I don't know whether they're coddled though. I think that they're overexposed and they don't take shit anymore. I see this new generation as saying no. Till our generation, and not yours, you're younger than me. So till me, we were the yes generation. We said yes to everything. We were the good generation. We were compliant. We followed our parents. We followed tradition. We got the planet to the mess that it's in. This generation, you're in between. But my kid and the ones, so maybe, I don't know how old you are, but the millennials and now my kid who's 17, they're the no generation, So on one level, that's the good part of them, that they are overexposed, they know everything, you can't pull anything, they know, when Bruce Jenner was transitioning, I was like, Maya, Bruce Jenner is transitioning. She was 14 years old or 13, and she was like, yeah, so like they were overexposed, they know all this stuff. Beautiful. I love it. They're the no generation, I think. The only thing I don't love about what we've done to them, and again, we've done it to them. I did it to my generation did it, is we've got ourselves all addicted to the screen. So we're addicted to our phones. They're addicted to their phones. So this is the zombification that's happening. There's a trend to the whole world being zombified. The whole world. It's not only our kids. We're zombies, they're zombies. Look at all of us on our phones, on a train, And now we're getting more isolated because of Corona. So I don't know how much more zombified we're going to get. Everything will go virtual. This is not good. This is the increased desensitization of our entire globe. We're going to lose connection. But I like our kids today that say no. Now, whatever we blame them for, we have to take responsibility. Like we gave them the phone and the laptop and the iPad and the computer. It's us. I was an immigrant who came from poor means, and I was going to be a success. So I know my kid is fully indulged. This is just the way it is. One generation, and then maybe by when she messes up, then her kids will be hungry and starving. They'll go have fire. To be successful, you need fire. And 100% I've taken out my kid's fire. How to give her fire when she has everything, Mm-hmm. So how to take it back now? So I've accepted. I had fire. I ran for success. She doesn't have fire. It's a cat push and pull. It's okay. Every generation can't have fire because fire comes in some ways. Now some kids are self-initiating even if they had every luxury in the world. But typically what creates fire? Desire. And if every desire is met, like my daughter's every desire is met, right? She's like, why? She doesn't even she's been on first class when she was 1 year old, right? Like, how we're raising our kids. It's so different. They've traveled the world. Where did you and I travel when we were young? I didn't leave my country on a plane till I was 21. Oh. What to do? But this is what to do. Tell them no. You stay home. I'm going. I have money, but you don't know I have money. It's so stupid. We are growing up in a time of privilege. It is what it is. I think that they're not coddled. I think they're overexposed. I think they're overindulged. But that doesn't mean they're coddled. Coddle means that I know what your person is saying. The helicopter parent who does it all, wants it.
Apparently it's called bulldozer parent, which means they will
but it's not the
every
kid.
Obstacle. Yeah,
it's us, the parents, who are over anxious. We are the ones. That's why I do parenting. 100%. It's us. No,
100%. I was more curiously asking as to what's your, which is very, very true. Everything that you said, it's parents that are doing this to the kids. We are the ones providing the screens. We are the ones giving on our phones, and hence, of course, they are on their phones, and we are the ones who are taking away all the things. What do you think we could do? And this is maybe more a selfish question because I have a young child and I have no idea what I'm going to do, and what I'm doing right now as a parent. Hopefully it's all whatever is right for him and right for me. But if there was somebody who was to ask you as a parent to go, how can it's the same thing, right? It's comfortable. Everything is comfortable right now. I grew up in very similar background to what you expressed. I come from India, come from a very poor family in Jaipur, and have traveled around the world now, but didn't leave the country until I was, I think, also around 21 or maybe 20 or something like that. And now I'm at that crossroad where, of course, everything's comfortable. My kid has traveled more countries before he's 2 than I did until I was 30 or something. But what can I do as a parent? Can there be something that can, as an awareness, I'm not even asking as activity, I'm saying as an awareness of a parent to say, hey, this is what I need to be aware of.
Well, the things
as
you
a
can
coach,
do.
what you would tell me.
Yeah. So number one, just in terms of the screens, limited, don't give him anything till he's a teenager. Like, I only gave my daughter a smartphone when she was 13 and a half, 14, but then it's just been downhill since then. So the more you can wait, do not give it. The old-fashioned TV is so much better. I think what we can do is, sure, we're going to travel the world and we're going to go to, Cancun and wherever. Mm-hmm. And sure, we're going to have a TV in every room maybe, or iPads and computers. Okay. But really in how we are, like day to day, I think that's where our simplicity shows up. My daughter is like, can you please buy a new car? Can you please wear nice clothes? Can you please, so when they see us simple at home and they see us not chasing money, but chasing purpose, I think they get it, Mm-hmm. And, no matter what, I always talk to my daughter about a budget. I always tell her, do you need it or do you want it? I always tell her, whoa, that's not worth it. I say you can have everything, but if it's worth it and if you need it, right? So I try not to say no because I don't want to create lack like we had when we were growing up. But I also don't want to create excess, So there's a lot of room between not creating lack, like we grew up in, but like when we grew up with anxious parents, perhaps who were old fashioned, save. I don't do that, but I also don't want excess. But it's also from how I live. I try not to create excess. I try to be simple. I think our kids get it, I'm telling you, our kids pick up the right things. When you live if you live in a lavish lifestyle, ostentatious, and you must have diamonds and you must have Cartiers, then they're going to think that's important. But if you have lovely experiences, I always tell my daughter, I will splurge on an experience, but you won't catch me splurging much on things, I go
That's
to the drugstore and I buy stuff from a drugstore,
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think in summary, what I got is our being is going to inform our kids in the way they need to be informed. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. Shefali, this has been fantastic. I know you have to run to a next conversation. If there was final thoughts, final words that you would like to leave with us about what we need to be mindful of as coaches, and of course, a little bit towards your institute as well, that would be amazing.
Yeah, so coaching is a fabulous profession because you wake up with this desire to serve and help. And I can't tell you how my coaches have transformed their lives. It's a transformational journey where you suddenly plug into purpose. And I know all of you in this program are here or have been here or want to be here because you want purpose. And deep purpose comes from service. I can tell you, if I didn't have service in my life, I would not be joyful. I know it doesn't matter how many children you have, how many cars you have, how many friends you have. Purpose, and purpose that is service-driven, is an unending well. You don't need the relationship. You don't need to be skinny. You don't need to eat ice cream. When you have purpose, like my friends and who've gone through, I have some friends who've gone through my coaching institute, and my coaches, they tell me, oh my God, like now I can't wait to wake up every morning because I have purpose. So all of you have purpose or on your way for purpose. So congratulations. And my coaching institute is a 20-week, 5-month online program where I give you the basic skills of conscious parenting, equip you with everything you need to go out into the world to become a conscious parenting coach. You don't need to have a background in psychology. You don't need to be a parent. I hold your hand. We do live calls, role playing. You have access to me, and you learn my conscious parenting method. And you go out there and you literally begin healing your parents because they have inner children. You heal yourself, you heal your own families, and you're out there being a beacon, helping parents one family at a time. So we can give them the link. It's on my website, drshefali.com, and Institute is a tab. So you just click on it and there's my coaching institute.
We're going to also link it up below this video. So go ahead, scroll down. You can see all the details of the program right below this.
Right. Our doors are open for the September cohort. It only opens twice a year, September and February. If you want to apply for the September cohort, grab your application now because spaces are filling up. And there's a prerequisite you need to get started on right away.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Shefali, for taking the time. It was fantastic.
Thank you, guys. Good luck, everyone. Bye.
I'm sure you love this conversation I just had with Shefali. Go ahead, scroll below to know all the details about our coaching institute. We release episodes like this every single week. We'd love to have you join us in conversations that happen every week for coaches, where we show you how to further your practice, grow your business, make more impact with your clients, and really live an extraordinary life. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button so we can keep you notified on new and upcoming episodes.